So, today I want to talk about dark skinned Black beauty blindness and how some Black women seem to have a lack of awareness when it comes to their beauty and also the beauty of other Black women, especially dark skinned Black women. And there are a few things that inspired this video. One is that Black woman troll who went viral on TikTok for saying Lupita is unattractive. Also, the constant conversation about the beauty of Olandria from Love Island. And most recently, a comment I got under the short I just posted talking about the ad from Old Navy that was done to counter the Sydney Sweeney Good Jeans ad from American Eagle. And by the way, make sure you check that out if you haven't already. But anyway, let's start with the woman from TikTok.
I feel like y'all just be picking the darkest, ugliest black girl and giving her kudo points for being pretty. And I don't take back what I said. Like, I feel like when it comes to black girls, y'all pick the ugliest woman who is dark skinned. And then y'all just want to be like, oh, she's pretty. No, like, there's dark skinned girls who are really pretty. It's just kind of like how y'all been shoving down people's necks with Lupita. And I'm not saying she's like but ugly. I'm not saying that. I just feel like I hate that when it comes to black girl beauty standards, y'all always pick the struggle. Y'all always pick the struggle black girl who can't even compete. There's really beautiful black girls out there. No makeup, no filter, no nothing, bitch. Me, oh, me. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm 100% real.
Now, I actually agree that the media intentionally promotes a lot of undesirable dark skinned women next to desirable non Black women and light skinned women. I've been talking about that for years on my channel. I also want to see more diverse representation of attractive dark skinned Black beauty in the media. But Lupita is not a good example to make that point. And that's where this woman went wrong, in my opinion. And that is why she got dragged online. And by the way, I saw a few colorists trying to make it seem like most unambiguous dark skinned women who speak on colorism are out here calling Lupita or women who look like her unattractive. I even saw somebody trying to say under my last video that it was all American Black women calling Lupita unattractive. But this woman on TikTok is Nigerian, to my understanding. So I'm not sure how this became an American Black woman thing or quote unquote ugly dark skinned woman thing. Lupita has been one of the top beauty icons in spaces that address colorism for years now. And that's why this troll on TikTok got so much pushback, because dark skinned women are dragging her for filth. Most dark skinned women as a collective, regardless of where they're from, don't agree with her. So the colorists who are trying to make this a common held belief coming from the collective of dark skinned women or quote unquote ugly dark skinned women is wild. This is one dark skinned woman on TikTok, and she does not speak for most dark skinned women. And the way dark skinned women responded to her proves that. So that is something that I wanted to clear up. But one thing that stuck out to me was when this woman named Rihanna as the Black woman they should use to challenge white beauty standards or go up against Sydney Sweeney.
They really out here playing with black beauty. And they throwing around bitches like Sydney Sweeney. And you guys want me to throw Lupita as the competitor? And we supposed to bring out heavy hitters? I'm not thinking Lupita, my nigga. I'm not thinking Lupita. I'm thinking Rihanna.
So that tells us that her issue is internalized colorism. If Rihanna is the first person she thought of, that tells us everything we need to know. You just have a problem with deeply melanated Black women. And this actually reminds me of how back in the day when I was doing DDS, Divine Dark Skin, for those who don't know what that is, there were dark skinned women right here on YouTube complaining because they thought that the dark skinned women we promoted on DDS weren't quote unquote pretty enough. And I was like, okay, well, if they aren't pretty enough, then who is? Because we featured very beautiful dark skinned women on DDS. Now, were they all quote unquote 10s? No, but they were still very attractive dark skinned women with a variety of features, a variety of hair textures and body types, but they still weren't good enough to some dark skinned women, even though they were on par with or even looked better than some of the light skinned women and mixed women who are promoted in the media. But they couldn't see that because of their own internalized colorism. And that's why this lady brought up Rihanna as someone she wants to represent Black womanhood instead of another dark skinned woman. She just wants someone more ambiguous to represent black women. And that's why she herself has that unflattering blonde hair. She thinks that black women, dark skinned black women, need some part of the white aesthetic to be attractive. And she feels that way about herself, and she's projecting that onto Lupita. And so after she got chewed up by the internet, she came back and she said, "Oh, well, I didn't mean to say that Lupita isn't pretty. She's pretty, but she just isn't sexy." And then she starts talking about how, oh, men don't want to F her. And of course, we know that she's talking about black men, right? So that tells us that she also has the typical Blackistan, black male identified mindset where she thinks that dark skinned women have to be hypersexualized to be attractive. She doesn't feel that dark skinned women have value if black men aren't heavily lusting after them or fetishizing them for their big butts or their BBLs. So in her mind, Lupita is not good enough. This is a very typical mindset in the black community. And this kind of ties into that person who was under my latest short. They said under that video that they didn't feel Old Navy chose a model that was universally appealing or gorgeous enough to compete with Sydney Sweeney. But I pointed out to them that the Old Navy model was actually on par with, and some would even say looks better than Sydney. The only thing that Old Navy didn't do was add sex appeal for the male gaze. And we could argue that maybe that was done intentionally to not outshine Sydney. And I do feel that a tastefully done, sexy ad featuring a black woman would have been a more effective counter campaign. So I do get what this commenter was saying. But at the end of the day, it's not up to white people or white men to promote that. That is the job of black men in the black community. So, we really can't expect them to promote black beauty that's going to outshine white beauty. That's just something they're not going to do for the most part. But regardless of the lack of sex appeal in the Old Navy ad, in terms of beauty, the black model from the Old Navy ad, and if you guys know who the model is, let me know. I should have done my research, but I'm sorry, I don't know her name. But she most definitely matched and even surpasses Sydney beauty-wise. And I feel like the only way someone would disagree with that is if they simply just think that white women or whiteness looks better, because you should be able to see beauty with or without sex appeal or hypersexuality. And there are a lot of black people who are completely blind to the beauty of dark-skinned women if they don't have enough hypersexuality. And I see a lot of black women saying, oh, well, the problem is dark-skinned women have to be exceptional to be considered beautiful. And I agree with that as well. But two things can be true at once. The media does intentionally promote undesirable dark-skinned women or put them in an unflattering light next to desirable light-skinned women and non-black women. And it's also true that in the black community, dark-skinned women have to be exceptional to be attractive. And I feel like a lot of y'all are trying to make one thing true and not the other, when both are true depending on the circumstance. And anyone saying that dark-skinned women have to be exceptional to be promoted and saying that there are no average-looking dark-skinned women being promoted in the media, they're not being honest. There are plenty of average dark-skinned women in the media. So this situation, in my opinion, has less to do with dark-skinned women having to be exceptional and more to do with this woman just not seeing the beauty in dark-skinned women outside of hypersexual representation, like the person under my video about the Old Navy ad. And that is why I call it dark-skinned black beauty blindness. That is internalized anti-blackness at play. And I can't blame it all on that. It's also the promotion that white women get. And see, this is why I keep reiterating the point about promotion and representation being so important, because it's designed to trick people. And that is exactly what white people have been doing in their media. The consistent, glamorous, luxurious, aspirational promotion of white women has even black people thinking that every woman they promote is drop dead gorgeous when they're not. What's happening is you're looking at their glamorous, aspirational promotion that's put out very consistently, and you're mistaking that for attractiveness. It's not to say that none of them are attractive, but a lot of it's glamour. And that's exactly what glamour is meant to do. It's meant to make things and people appear more beautiful than they are. And this is exactly why why I will continue to push for aspirational promotion of Black women. Because all of the poverty promotion and struggle promotion clearly got y'all thinking that Black women are uglier than we are. And you can't tell me that's not part of the reason outside of anti-Blackness, because there's no other explanation as to why y'all see a Black woman who's on par or looks better than Sydney Sweeney and you say that she doesn't. Y'all need more glamorous, aspirational promotion of dark-skinned women, and you can't convince me otherwise at this point, because these white people and their media done fucked up y'all eyesight or something. And another thing white people do to trick y'all is promote their exceptional, aspirational women in terms of body type. Most white women are not built like Sydney Sweeney. Most American women of all races are size 14 to 16, I believe. And we're not seeing a lot of plus-size white women in the media. But when it comes to facial attractiveness, not all of them are 10s, ladies. And this is a big reason why I encourage weight loss and also the promotion of fit, smaller Black women, because having an average size or a fit body often makes people think you're more attractive. And a nice body and an average face will get you much further than having an exceptional face and a fat body. I'm just being honest. And most people are average facially, so having a nice body, that'll typically bump you up a notch. And for those who might be new here, this is a level up channel, okay? This is not a politically correct channel. So I'm just telling you what works. And in terms of Black women competing promotionally, if you want more effective promotion that counters most of the non-Black women being promoted, and let's be honest, that is what y'all want. You don't just want to be promoted. You want to win the beauty promotion contest. That's what you want, Black women. You want to stand out. So in order to do that, ladies, the bodies need to be T. There is no way around it. And notice, I didn't say skinny. By the way, Black women tend to carry weight very well on average, so we can get away with being a little bigger and curvier and still beat out the competition. That's an advantage that Black women have over other races of women. We also have a natural hair advantage because nobody else's hair looks like ours, especially when it's long, and they know that. They know that we have an advantage in that department, which is why they always promote bald-headed Black women or Black women with weave. And that's one thing I agree with the TikTok woman on. They don't show enough variety intentionally when it comes to Black hair. And they absolutely do that on purpose because attractive Black women with long hair, long natural hair, are more capable of competing with non-Black women with long hair. So they would rather promote us being bald or with a bunch of weave that has a similar texture to theirs. Or they'll do what they did with Beyonce in the recent Levi ad and promote Black women with blonde hair. So, part of the underlying message is, this is a Black woman, but she still low-key want to be white. And Black women very much feed into that. And I think that Beyonce Levi's ad was a counter to the Sydney Sweeney ad as well. But to me, that was an effective promotion for Black women, primarily because of the blonde hair. Black women need ads that can actually compete with the status quo, and we need beauty representation that cannot be claimed by non-Black women. Like, they don't need to be able to claim anything. And on top of that, Beyonce's light-skinned too, so she's closer to the European beauty standard. So that's something else that makes her less threatening to the status quo. So, I love Beyonce, but I would never consider her to be like corrective promotion, especially for dark-skinned women. But see, I'm pretty sure that a lot of Black women, like the woman on TikTok, they probably think that this Beyonce ad was a good counter to the Sydney Sweeney ad. And they probably thought it was good Black beauty promotion that will trickle down and benefit all Black women, when most of y'all don't even look like Beyonce. Just like she brought up Rihanna, but she looks nothing like her. And see, this is part of why dark-skinned women especially lose in the promotional department, because we want everybody but dark-skinned women to represent Black womanhood. And then when we're undermined, we're somewhere complaining about erasure. Well, part of it is because you don't prioritize your own phenotype. And when you do get good promotion, you shit on it, like many of you are doing with Olandria and Shelly, siding with Huda and her racist fans. That is completely counterproductive. And a lot of y'all also shit on platforms for dark-skinned women, the way you did with DDS. There are too many Black women who don't recognize actual corrective promotion, or you hate on it. And then you champion unflattering, undesirable, struggle poverty promotion, and then it blinds you to the beauty of dark-skinned women and makes it impossible for you to see us in any other light and see yourselves in a better light as well. And not only is this woman on TikTok blind to the beauty of dark skinned women like Lupita, she's also unaware of how her own beauty is perceived as well. Because most people would perceive Lupita to be more attractive than her. And a lot of people were saying that to her. But I think if she truly knew that, she probably wouldn't have come on the internet and said what she said. I mean, I do think she's a troll and she was just trying to get attention, but I think she actually believed what she was saying as well. And this is why I told y'all a long time ago in several videos that it's very important to have self-awareness. And part of having self-awareness is knowing how you are perceived. Because sometimes when you don't know that, you end up embarrassing yourself like this woman did. And self-awareness is also very important if you are a woman on social media because the internet is forever. And this woman will always have the reputation of being delusional and lacking self-awareness about how her beauty compares to a famous actress that most people think looks better than her. It's just a bad look. And something else I thought of that I didn't hear many people touch on is that maybe deep down this woman thinks she looks better than Lupita because she's a few shades lighter. That's definitely a thing, even with dark-skinned women and brown-skinned women. And you see that a lot on YouTube these days, actually. There's a lot of unambiguous brown-skinned women with a looser hair texture or maybe a smaller nose, and they think that automatically makes them look better than women who are darker and more unambiguous than them. When reality, many of them, based on what we've seen, are equally as attractive or less attractive than the women they think they look better than. So maybe this lady is othering herself because she's a few shades lighter than Lupita. But I just feel like if she actually knew where she fell on the scale of conventional beauty, she probably wouldn't have made these videos and embarrassed herself. And the same thing happened with a woman on X who said Olandria from Love Island is unattractive and that she's only being praised because she's dark skinned. Now, personally, I think Olandria is being praised because Black women genuinely find her to be beautiful, myself included. But even if it was because she's dark skinned, so what? Basic light skinned women get hyped up for being light skinned all the time. So if dark skinned women want to hype up another dark skinned woman because she's dark, we can do that too. But what's interesting is that this woman on X who said that Olandria was unattractive, she had to be about 300 pounds. But she thought because she's lighter skinned with smaller facial features that she would get a pass, but the internet dragged her for filth. And there's just no way that she was aware of her perceived level of attractiveness or Olandria's, because if she was, she wouldn't have walked into getting dragged like that. So that's what I mean by the lack of self-awareness. And the colorism, the dark-skinned Black beauty blindness is so strong in the Black community that conventionally unattractive women think they look better than dark-skinned women just because they're light-skinned. And I'm seeing that a lot with the discussions about Olandria. Like, a lot of people are really pissed off that Olandria is getting so much praise from Black women. And Shelly too, but especially Olandria because she has broader features. I even had a Black woman under my video about Love Island mad at me for not saying that Shelly was more attractive than Olandria. And that kind of shit only happens with dark-skinned women. Because if Black women see two attractive light-skinned women or a light-skinned woman and a brown-skinned woman, in most cases, they don't feel the need to point out who looks better than the other. I don't recall hearing beauty comparisons when Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj did a song together, or Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Y'all only do that shit with dark-skinned women, and it's because y'all are uncomfortable with seeing unambiguous dark-skinned women, especially those with broad features, getting praise. Y'all cannot stand that shit. It really pisses y'all off. Even some of you who look similar to Olandria are pissed off about it. You don't feel like you're beautiful, or your beauty has never been affirmed, so you're upset that Olandria's beauty is being affirmed. You don't feel like you're beautiful, so you're projecting that onto Olandria. You have internalized the colorism from society and Black men and the Black community, so you are blind to your own beauty and the beauty of other dark-skinned women. And look, this is not to say that you have to find every dark-skinned woman attractive. But like I had to tell someone in my comments, why is it always dark-skinned women being asked to announce when a dark-skinned woman is unattractive? Are y'all asking light-skinned skinned women to announce when other light skinned women are unattractive? What about mixed women? What about white women? What about black men? How about this? When all these anti-dark skinned women colorist channels make announcements about how ugly other light skinned women and other mixed race women are, then dark skinned women will do it. Deal? Deal. Okay. But anyway, I keep doing these videos to help more of you wake up to how you contribute to destroying your own representation. And I know it's working slowly but surely because I hear my talking points everywhere. So, this is just another reminder, ladies. Stop shooting yourself in the foot and jump in the game. Stop hating on women who look like you who are getting the spotlight, because that is actually the beauty that trickles down to you, not Rihanna and not Beyonce. So yeah, definitely make sure you share this video with other dark-skinned women who need to hear it. Also, let me know what you think about this topic down in the comments. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch up with you in the next video.